Welcome to the Human Body 2.0 Redesign Project. We are going to run through an introduction on this project. We're going to be studying human body systems, as you know, but we're tackling it a little bit differently this time. Just to kind of recap where you are up to this point, you've viewed a PowerPoint and taken some notes on it called the Division of Labor, where you looked at the levels of organization of multicellular organisms, from cells to tissues to organ systems, and then to organisms. You've done a sorting activity or two where you have looked at different components and figured out where they land on those different levels of organization. And today we are going to introduce the project. And this is going to be a bit of a long-term project, but it should be fun and should be interesting for you. I'm going to kick off this video with a cheesy video from my childhood, from Good Stuff. I don't want to watch an ad. The $6 Million Man. I even had the action figure that came with the red sweatsuit and everything. So that video kind of goes along with the idea behind this project, the Human Body 2.0 Redesign Project. So we're going to learn about body systems with this engineering project in mind, where we're going to be looking to maybe redesign a body system. And so I want to first share the introduction of the project with you. I'm going to read it here. This is just to kind of get your wheels turning about the project. It says, on a golf course last fall, a New York accountant took a healthy swing at the ball, fell to the ground, and couldn't get up. He spent the next 9 weeks in a hospital, slipped spinal disc. A mailman in Philadelphia was forced to turn in his resignation when fallen arches made walking unbearable. In Chicago, an office worker running for a bus suddenly crumpled to the ground. He hobbled to a stoop and sat until help arrived. Dislocated knee, the doctor said. Multiply each of these instances by several million, and you will get a rough idea of the number of bad backs, sore feet, and trick knees which abound in this country alone. It all adds up to the fact that, while the human body has never been equaled from the standpoint of all-around master engineering, a number of glaring weaknesses do exist in man's basic equipment. Listen to Dr. Wilton M. Krogman, professor of physical anthropology at the Graduate School of Medicine, University of Pennsylvania. It has been said that man is fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm inclined to agree with that statement, especially the fearfully part of it. As a piece of machinery, we are such a hodgepodge and makeshift that the real wonder is we get along as we do. And you can see we've got the quote, the source for the quote right there. So that's kind of a little bit of an introduction. And I want to kind of go through the goals of the project with you. And here's our overarching question. It says, how would scientists go about redesigning the human creature in order to get the most efficiency out of him or her? In order to answer this question, you will navigate through different body systems to understand fully how the human body works. Once you've studied the human body and acquired enough XP, which I'll talk about in a bit, you will be placed in groups of scientists tasked with redesigning one body system and submit a redesign brief. The team or teams that successfully convinces the panel that their redesign is worthy will gain fame and fortune by being posted on the exemplary project site. Only students with enough XP in each system are eligible for the Team Human Body 2.0 project. If you are not eligible for the team project, you will complete an alternate individual project. And we're going to have a folder in Schoology for you to begin here. So what you're going to be doing for the initial part of this project is you're going to be researching the different body systems. And we've set up all of the resources necessary that you're going to need to research each of the body systems. And you're going to record your research in journal entries. And so if we look here, what I have here is a journal entry structure and requirements in this idea of XP values. XP, if you're a gamer, you might be familiar with the term XP, experience points. And in order for you to be eligible for the team project, you need to accumulate a certain number of XPs for each of the body systems. And that actually magic number is 24 XPs per body system entry. And I'm going to show you how you're going to achieve that right now. And then I'm going to show you an actual exemplar journal entry to kind of help you along, then show you where your resources are, and then have you get started with this. So here is the journal entry structure and the requirements that you need to include in each journal entry. There's the bell. And the XP values for each. Remember, your target goal is 24 XPs for each body system entry. So the first thing that you are going to need to have is the title of the body system that you are researching, and that's worth 1 XP. And then there are some basics that you need to have. You need to include a picture or pictures of the body system. You can have a picture of the whole body system, for example, the whole skeleton, or pictures of its parts, and that's 1 XP. You need to write a statement of what the body system's job or jobs are. What are the functions of the body system? And that piece is worth 5 XPs. You need to include the names and the functions of the major organs in the body system, and that's worth 5 XPs. You're not going to list every single organ or every single bone in the entire skeleton, but you're going to list the major ones, just so we can get a general overview of how the different parts of the body system work together. So right now we've got 1, 2, plus 5 is 7, plus 5 is 12. Interactions with other systems. You have to explain how this body system works with other systems in the body. As you know, these body systems don't work in isolation or on their own. They depend on one another. And so you need to explain how whatever particular body system you're researching interacts with some of the others. That's worth 5 XPs. So we are now up to 17 XPs, getting close to the magic 24 that you need to have. The other part that you need to include is an analogy. All right. Now this is a little bit complex. An analogy is like a comparison, and the best example of an analogy I can give you that you've had experience with is the idea of the cell city analogy, where you compare a cell to a city and how the different parts of the cell correspond with the different parts of the city because they have the same functions. For example, the city hall is analogous to the nucleus of a cell because they both kind of direct the activities for that particular item. So you've got to think of an analogy for the body system. What does it do? And you've done some sorts coming up to this that might help you with that. There's a hint for you. You need to include a picture of some person, place, or thing that does the same job as the body system, and that picture is 1 XP. And then the explanation, and this is where the lion's share of the XPs come from. Explain why you think the analogy illustration you chose is like the body system you're writing about, and that's worth 10 XP. So this is going to require some thought. You can increase, so you can kind of get some bonus XPs by adding analogies for the organs themselves. And this actually only works if they fall within the original analogy. Don't stretch too far to try to get additional XPs. Your target is 24. And right now, if we include this 10, you're up to 28. And then, of course, you want to include your sources. You're going to need to give credit where credit is due. So you're going to be copying and pasting some URL to web addresses, or if you use some outside sources like textbooks or other additional books, you want to record that information as well. So let me show you an exemplar, and I'm going to kind of bounce back and forth between the exemplar and the requirements just to show you how these points were earned. So here's our exemplar. Let me scroll back up to the top, and this is an example of the skeletal system. So I'm going to bounce back and forth here. So got to have the title. Bouncing back here, here's our title, skeleton system, 1 XP. The basics, you need a body system picture, like the whole skeleton, or pictures of parts of the individual parts of the system. We've got a skeleton here, and we've got a bone here. There's another XP. The body system function. Okay, well, it says here the skeletal system works by forming a strong structure for the body, gives the body its shape, protects the inside organs, and makes red blood cells. So that's the function, and that is 5 XPs. Scrolling down here, the organs include the names and functions of each of the major organs of the body systems. for 5 XPs. Now the skeletal system's a little weird in that it doesn't really have specific organs like the individual bones. There's different pieces, though, different parts of the system that make this up. So it says the skeletal system is comprised of bones. Their purpose is to protect and support the function of other organs in the body. Bones store minerals and provide blood protection while, organ protection, there's a typo, while producing red and white blood cells. I'm going to fix that. Cartilage, it's a connective tissue located throughout the body. Cartilage supports the structure of many body parts and functions like the bones, ribs, ears, and nose. Tendons provide the connection between muscle and bone. Tendons work with the muscles to allow movement since they can withstand pressure and tension. Ligaments connect bones to other bones. They provide stability to joints during rest and active movement. Joints are made up of bones, tendons, and ligaments. They allow for a vast range of movement. We've got a picture of the types of joints and descriptions of each. I'm not going to read through these all. We've got pivot joints, hinge joints, gliding joints, ball and socket joints. You get the idea, all right? So that's worth 5 XP. Next is the interaction with other systems. That's going to be worth 5 XP, so let's take a look here. The skeletal system does not work alone. It interacts with the muscular system. Muscles connect to the skeleton and contract and relax to move the skeleton. Ligaments and bones working together make the process of movement happen smoothly. The bones in the skeleton also work with the circulatory or cardiovascular system. The marrow inside the bones produces the red and white blood cells that are needed to ward against disease and provide oxygen and remove waste from all cells in the body. So here we've got interactions with a couple of different body systems included, all right? So that was worth 5 XPs for the interaction. And then the analogy piece here. We've got the analogy picture right there, and then the description. So this is like the big XP spot here. Now my fan just came on. I hope you can hear me over it. The skeletal system is like the frame of a house because a house frame provides a strong structure, forms its shape, and protects the insides of the house, just like the skeletal system does. The bones are like the wooden beams because they provide the structure. So that is extra XPs because we're continuing the analogy with some of the organs. The ligaments are like the nails that connect the beams to one another. Hinge joints are found in the doors, while gliding joints are found in the sliding doors of a house. So if we flip back here, you can see that we've kind of gone above and beyond with that. And then we've got, where is it? We've got structure and function. So we're focusing on a particular organ here. And this is kind of leaning towards the idea of redesign. And I'm going to get to that in a second. This person was maybe focusing on the spine. So you can read this if you want. But this is kind of focusing on where in the skeletal system is there room for improvement? Because that's our overarching goal with this engineering project, is to try to redesign the system or parts of the system to make it more efficient, make it better. And so I'm going to kind of skip over that for now. And here are sources. And you can see these are just copied and pasted from the websites, right from that address bar in the websites. So that's pretty much it in terms of the requirements there. So I hope that kind of clarifies what you're going to be doing when you research each of the body systems, and how to get these XPs. Remember that target number is 24. So there's 29 possible XPs in the journal entry itself. The other piece that you're going to be doing after you research the body system is, again, we want to have you thinking about ideas for improvement. So in addition to the journal entry, you're also going to be completing one of these forms for each of the body systems. And this is suggested areas of redesign. So this is where you're going to think about, all right, what are the weaknesses in this system? What needs improvement? And so in addition to the journal entry, you're going to be completing this right here for each of the body systems. And there are different categories or areas in which you think you can improve the system. For example, efficiency, how fast the system does its job. Communication, how well it interacts with the other systems. Location, where it is, and is that location a problem? Performance, how well it does its job, and or does it break down easily, or some other area that you've thought of that we weren't clever enough to come up with on this page. And what you'll do then is you'll describe the problem that you see. What's the problem that you see and why is it a problem? For example, here we've got when you get a cut, blood takes a long time to clot. This makes it so you could lose a fair amount of blood and risk death. It also opens up the possibility of infections and other complications. So there's the problem. And then, so you'll describe it, and then underneath that, what do you propose? Then this person had a clever idea. I propose to redesign blood so that it clots faster and or as soon as it is exposed to sunlight, right? So that seems like a good idea to help it clot faster. But there's some other things to consider. There are other consequences. Remember, there's always going to be unintended consequences. So we're asking you to think about what those consequences, what other consequences might occur. So it says, what consequences might your redesign carry to other organs or body systems, right? So some things to think about, all right? And again, this is just a little bit of brainstorming. This gets submitted as an assignment on Schoology, just like the journal entry, and this is worth 5 XPs. So this is going to help you with that target of 24. So this is a very attainable target for you to reach to achieve these XPs. So let me show you where the stuff is. There's going to be a folder in Schoology where it'll be called the Systems Resource Folders. And we have them set up for each of the body systems. You can tackle these in any order that you wish, all right? And they all look pretty similar. So I'm going to start with the skeletal system. It's the first one here. I'm not going to go through them all because they're all pretty similar. You're going to find the same things in each of these folders. So when I open up this folder here, you'll see I've got the journal entry template and then the suggested areas of redesign template. These are the forms that you're going to be submitting on Schoology each day, and your teacher will be setting up an assignment for you to attach these to the assignment submission, okay? So I'm going to click on this, and you'll see we've got a little bit of we've got some directions here. It says, use this template for your body system journal entry. Be sure to save as skeletal journal in your OneDrive science folder. It's real important that you submit this in OneDrive, especially if you've had laptop problems. If it's in OneDrive, you can get to it from anywhere. If you have trouble getting into OneDrive, let your teacher know at the very beginning of this project so we can help you. So if you click on this, it's going to let you download it, okay? I'm going to download it into OneDrive. I'm even going to make a new science folder here. And I'm going to, here's my science folder. Look, it's nice and clean. There's nothing in here. And I'm going to call this skeletal journal entry. Okay? I'm going to save it. And then, when I open it up, it's going to open up the Word document. I've included the XPs for each of these, all right? So you're just going to simply type in the title, those basics, the pictures, so you're going to copy and paste, so you're going to be using your right-click, copy and paste, the function of the system, the organs, all of these things that were outlined on that Schoology page, okay? And again, the analogy, the explanation, and the pictures. So once you've done the save as and you're working through here and you save to your OneDrive, you will be all set. And when you're all done with this project, you will have one of these journal entries for each of those body systems. And you'll have that to refer to a little bit later when it comes time for the project. You'll do the same thing for the suggested journal entry. So if you look here, I'm going to close this, suggested areas of redesign template. When you click on this, you'll say use this template for your suggested areas of redesign form. Be sure to save as skeletal redesign in your OneDrive science folder, and this will be submitted on Schoology. Okay? And again, I'm not going to download this. You just saw what I did with the journal entry. And that's pretty much it. That is the extent of the research portion of the project. We're going to get into what the actual team project is in a bit, but it's going to take us some time to do the research. Excuse me. Also, you'll notice I've got all these links. There's lots of links and videos and all sorts of things for each of these body systems. I've gone through these, so these are going to have information that are useful to you, that will give you enough to include in your journal entry. So you don't have to hit the Googler really. There should be enough included in each of these, unless you're kind of going above and beyond. But again, we need to be mindful of our time as we work through this project, work through the research portion of the project. So with that, I'm going to close the video with a song, as we like to do.
Mr. Paul's in the building, yeah! Alright, are you ready for the organ systems? From digestive to endocrine, its animal structure and all of its functions. Remember when you study organ systems? Alright, are you ready for the organ systems? From digestive to endocrine, its animal structure and all of its functions. Remember when you study organ systems? Have you ever had to study animal anatomy and their physiology? The digestive system, mouth, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, intestines, liver, pancreas, and the anus. Ingest, digest, absorb, then pass. Circulatory is the next, with the heart and blood vessels. Internal distribution, moving blood upon its path. See, now it's respiratory, that's with the lungs and trachea. Includes the other breathing tubes, all for the gas exchanging. Immune and lymphatic, it's the body defenses. We need these to stand up, fighting infections, cancer. BO and hemato, lymph, nose, spleen, and thymus. Even the white blood cells and all the lymph vessels. Alright, are you ready for the organ systems? From digestive to endocrine, its animal structure and all of its functions. Remember when you study organ systems? Alright, are you ready for the organ systems? From digestive to endocrine, its animal structure and all of its functions. Remember when you study organ systems? 1 for kidneys sifting out the waste, 2 for bladder storing urine in its place, 3 for urethra, 2 for genitals, all are part of excretory. Now for the endocrine system, thyroid and the pancreas, and the other hormones secreting glands that's involved in coordinating body functions. Yeah, the world needs more little girls and little boys repopulating the world. Now it's reproduction. Males will have testes, ovaries for females. For these organs, girls and boys together make the world more. As we get to nervous, the brain and the spinal cord, nerves, sensory organs, body will coordinate the stimuli and formulate how you will respond to it. I hope that your nervous system works well and never does quit. Alright, are you ready for the organ systems? From digestive to endocrine, its animal structure and all of its functions. Remember when you study organ systems? Alright, are you ready for the organ systems? From digestive to endocrine, its animal structure and all of its functions. Remember when you study organ systems? So now it's integumentary, skin and its derivatives, protect against injuries, drying out and then infection. Bones, yes, tendons, yes, ligaments and cartilage. Skeletal supports you now, so you'll lift your arms higher, raise them till your arms tired. Muscles keep them there, giving movement, locomotion to help you persevere. Yeah, all these body systems working on their own, but they come together in the body. They are not alone. Alright, are you ready for the organ systems? From digestive to endocrine, its animal structure and all of its functions. Remember when you study organ systems? Alright, are you ready for the organ systems? From digestive to endocrine, its animal structure and all of its functions. Remember when you study organ systems?
All right. So you can tell that it's going to be super important for you to make sure you come to science class each day with earbuds and a fully charged computer. If you don't, you are going to have an awful lot of homework to do at home if your computer is not charged. So I know you're able to do that, so make it happen. All right, guys, I hope you enjoy this project. It's going to be a lot of fun. See you later.